Good morning, and welcome to Unity RGB online service. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We are spiritual, but not religious. We are a blending of Christianity, science, Eastern religion, transcendentalism, and the power of the mind, positive thinking. I'd like to begin this morning with our announcements. First of all, at one time I had this vision of having this place really busy, having classes like every day and things like that. And it turns out that that's kind of what's happening now, although they're on Zoom. Because now we've got a class almost every day. Monday evening at 6, we have a class facilitated by Reverend Beverly Pryor from Unity of the Hill Country in Kerrville, and it is called The Universe is Calling. On Tuesdays, I have a class called Let's Get Metaphysical. That one's at 7 o'clock on Zoom as well. Then on Wednesday, Reverend Jay up in Bernie has started a class called Love 101. That is at 6:30. Then on Thursday at 6:30, there is an ARE group from here that meets. And then at 8 o'clock, there is that collaborative group meditation that brings in all the centers. And between all the centers now, there are 7 of us. Unity of the Hill Country, Unity Bernie, Unity San Antonio, Unity Corpus Christi, Unity San Angelo, Unity Brownsville, and Unity RGB. So we're having a really good time connecting, but I'd like to see a little more participation from people, because you don't have the excuse that, well, I don't like to drive at night, all this other stuff. So all you gotta do is turn on your computer. So you can go to our website, and on the splash page, there is a summary of all the classes. Secondly, let me see, the bookstore. We need to get rid of some of our material that's piling up because of time. So on Thursday mornings, usually someone is here. You want to swing by and pick up a couple of magazines or a daily word or something, that would be good. And finally, one more announcement, and that is that this coming Wednesday is the World Day of Prayer. On Unity Worldwide Ministry starts at 7 p.m. We're going to start something here at 6. And it'll be just the chaplains will be here, and we will be on Zoom. So if you'd like to use the same room that we use for the Let's Get Metaphysical, use that link, and 6 o'clock in the evening on this Wednesday, September the 9th. So we'll see you then. I'd like to begin this morning with words about wholeness. I remember the truth of my spiritual identity, and I celebrate my wholeness. When I see a large tree with its branches spread out and filled with beautiful leaves, I may think this is a picture of wholeness. Yet, as I choose to see the bigger picture, I realize I am not seeing the whole tree. Its roots dig deeply into the ground for nutrition to build the tree that I see before me. Similarly, when I look at my body, I may at first think I am seeing the totality of me. In truth, though, I know that there is much more to me than this physical form. My wholeness comprises the totality of my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual natures. I bless and appreciate each aspect of my being, knowing that they all work together. My roots are deep in this spiritual awareness. I remember the truth of my spiritual identity, and I celebrate my wholeness. Share with me Unity's invocation, which is said at all Unity spiritual centers around the world. There's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent.
Letting fear and worry I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Join with me in Unity RGB's affirmation and vision. Unity RGB is an expanding center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. Centered in God, we express the indwelling Christ.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I thought I would sneak my meet and greet today with this second song. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been watching every Sunday. It's been such a fun experience and a very different experience to put together these services every single week. But I've really enjoyed seeing everybody's videos every week, sending me either the meditation or meet and greets and different songs and just sharing things, the lessons. I just want to say I really appreciate everybody, and this is really such a big effort to be able to do this, and I think it's really great that we've all been able to connect every Sunday still. I know it's something that I miss, and it's something that I look forward to every week. So thank you. This song is called I Am So Blessed. Feel free to sing along. The words are, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. She sings it 3 times. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
As we start this time of inner reflection, let's begin by getting comfortable. Remove all objects from your lap, place your feet on the floor, and sit up comfortably in your chair. Relax the muscles in your face, shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Feel your hips, legs, feet, and toes relax as well. Release any areas of tension you feel in your body. Take a deep, centering breath. Slowly inhale, gently hold for a few seconds, and then slowly exhale. Repeat a few times. Focus on your inhalation and exhalation as you continue to relax your body. Gently breathe in and out. Just relax and breathe naturally. You now feel the increased sense of relaxation to your body with every breath. Feel calmness and peace wash over you. Now let's center our attention to the daily word, which for today are world peace. Our Bible verse is from Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Today's affirmation is, I imagine a world transformed by peace and love. Let's say that together once. I imagine a world transformed by peace and love. Our message reads, world peace begins within my mind and heart. Closing my eyes, I breathe deeply and envision every person bringing forth the love and peace of God. I see all the world's people surrounded by a healing light that transforms strife, anger, and division into reconciliation, peace, and unity. As I hold this vision, I see the entire world aglow with radiance. Harmony and cooperation heal the world's wounds and encourage love to flower in each person's heart. I carry this vision throughout my day. Divine love, expressing as me, sees oneness regardless of apparent differences. Divine wisdom and understanding illumine my thoughts, inspire my words, and guide me to act in ways that bring peace to the world. Now let's close our eyes and take these words and this affirmation into the silence.
Silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home.
Today's guest speaker is licensed Unity teacher Michael Scales.
Hello, friends. It's really a pleasure to be with you again, and it's an honor to be sharing the Sunday lesson with you this morning. You may have seen on the Facebook page or the website that the title of today's lesson is The Power of Nonresistance. So I want to share some thoughts about that topic with you this morning. Now, most of you may be aware of the fact that in Unity and other movements that go by the general designation of New Thought or metaphysical, there's a strong emphasis on controlling one's life by controlling one's thinking. And this is encapsulated in a popular metaphysical bromide that goes, change your thinking, change your life. The implication of this aphorism is that we think our lives into existence, so changing one's life for the better is as simple as thinking in a more positive way. Well, it may be that simple for some people, but for most, it's not quite that simple. While it is true that one's prevailing and persisting thought patterns do create a thought atmosphere, an emanation of one's deeply held beliefs, attitudes, and values, changing this thought atmosphere is not a superficial matter of just starting to think differently. One needs to change the way one responds to the circumstances, events, and conditions that make up one's life in order to accomplish this. And there are several steps we can take to accomplish this change. And perhaps the most powerful one is non-resistance, also called acceptance. So throughout the lesson, you'll hear me refer to this attitude change by both of those words. So I want to talk a little bit this morning or this evening or whenever you're hearing this lesson about the three primary aspects of the power of non-resistance, the three things that it really accomplishes for us. And these things are that non-resistance changes our consciousness from negative to positive. Non-resistance harmonizes us with everything in our lives, with the whole universe, actually. And non-resistance allows divine love to flow through us into our world of affairs and have its transforming, healing, and harmonizing effect in every aspect of our lives. So let's start by looking at how non-resistance can help us go from a negative state of consciousness to a positive state of consciousness. Because when we talk about changing your thinking, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about moving from a negative state to a positive state. And we know from the law of mind action that if we're sending out negativity, negativity is reflected back to us. If we're sending out positivity, then positivity is reflected back to us. So we want to get into that positive state. One of the most effective ways we can do this is to stop resisting the things in our lives that are not the way we want them to be. And of course, we all have things in our lives that we would prefer be different. And the habit that we have developed, because this is really what we're trained to do, is to resist that which we don't like, to rail against it, to get tense about it, to think about all the ways that we want to change it. And that, of course, is a negative state of consciousness. So the first thing we have to do is to get out of that negativity, is to accept things as they are in our life. In his book titled The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle writes, "Accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it." So that's a big stretch. It's not just a matter of saying, okay, well, I guess I can learn to accept this as it is. The saying goes, it is what it is, which really means it's something I don't like. When we say it is what it is, it really means I don't like it. But to go from that to accepting whatever is confronting us as though we have chosen it, to own it, in other words. He goes on, always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and ally, not your enemy. This will miraculously transform your whole life. Now that can be something of a radical thought. And those of us who have been around Unity for a while know that this is what we're taught to do. But as I mentioned a moment ago, it's still something that we've developed the habit of not doing. So it seems counterintuitive to us. But the act of accepting is the all-important shift from the negativity of resistance to the positivity of acceptance. If you can say to yourself, well, I chose this, that gives you a sense of power and control over it, which is a much more positive state. This reframing allows us to act from that point onward in a constructive, creative, and positive way. It doesn't mean we don't try to improve conditions. Acceptance doesn't mean that we don't want to see the situation change. It means that we can be okay for the time being with it as it is. It means that we're able to approach these things with the positivity necessary to improve them in a profound and lasting way. We've got to be in a positive state of mind to get the positive ideas necessary to make positive changes. Most of us are familiar with the saying that what we resist persists. This is another thing we hear a lot in unity. This is because our resistance is a declaration that the circumstance or event we're resisting is bad and undesirable. And this declaration causes the situation to become a greater expression of what we don't want. When we name it, we have to claim it. If we're saying all the time, this is bad, this is undesirable, we're just making it more and more and more that way. So it increases the power that the circumstance has over us. When we accept the situation as it is, instead of resisting it, then we're declaring that somehow, some way, there's good in this situation. One of my favorite spiritual teachers used to say all the time, find the good and praise it. Whatever situation you're in, find the good in that situation and praise it. That's an act of acceptance. So this allows divine love to flow through us into the situation. You see, we can get into this loving state, and divine love flows through us into the situation, and we can take the action that the situation requires that we take at the time. And this infusion of love into the situation is what will harmonize it and bring it into alignment with our highest good. So it's one of those paradoxes we often encounter in spiritual matters, that if there's something we don't like and want to change, we have to love it and accept it as it is. So this acceptance or non-resistance is the crucial step we have to take in consciousness, because we have to harmonize ourselves with the situation before it will harmonize itself with us. It goes back to that cause and effect. We have to be willing to harmonize with the situation, and then in return we receive harmony back from the situation. So non-resistance then harmonizes us with the universe. This state of non-resistance is what Jesus was referring to in his famous teaching about loving your enemies. Now, most of you who have heard me speak a lot know that I refer to this passage of Scripture very, very often. I almost always find a way to work it into a talk. So I apologize if it seems old hat to you, but it's so central to this message that I just have to include it. This is one of my favorite things that Jesus ever said. It's a real mind twister when you first hear it. He says, "You have heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven." Make note of that. He says, if you do this, you become a true child of your Father in heaven, meaning you really begin to take on the likeness of God. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? In other words, how do you grow from doing that? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And tax collectors are just a symbol for, people who aren't too cool. And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? And metaphysically, pagans just refers to unspiritual, worldly kind of thoughts. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Now that's kind of a shocking statement at the end. Oh, I've got to try to be perfect like God. But that word that's translated as perfect is often translated, and many people say more accurately translated, as complete. Be complete, therefore, as your heavenly Father is complete, meaning complete in your lovingness, complete in your acceptance, complete in your declaration that things are good. And when he talks about our enemies, this refers to anything that we think of as being against us, not just people. And so Jesus is saying that if we love everything in our lives, we're aligning our consciousness with divine mind, with God, and allowing that divine love to flow through us out into our world of affairs and have its healing and transforming effect. Imelda Shanklin, a well-known Unity minister back in the day and author, wrote a book titled, What Are You? And in that book, she explains the power of this shift. She says, the essence of non-resistance is unity. You are not isolated from the rest of the universe when you practice non-resistance. You are an indispensable part of the universe, and as such, the universe loves, protects, and cherishes you. In so caring for you, the universe is self-preserving. You are safe. You are inconceivably valuable. Nothing opposes you. You are in the midst of friends. See, that's the state that we create through this non-resistance, this acceptance. And so this is what Jesus meant when he said, you shall be children of your Father in heaven. You will be doing what God does. You will be mirroring God's consciousness. You will be walking in God's footsteps by loving everything and everybody. He meant we're being expressions of divine love. And this brings me to my final thought that I'd like to share. And this is something I found very moving. I've read lots of books that take place in the Southwest, and many of which take place in the Navajo community. Now I want to start by saying the word Navajo is not the name that the Navajo Nation uses for themselves. Navajo is a Spanish word that was applied to them by the Spanish. They refer to themselves as Dine, D-I-N-E, with an accent, Dine, which means the people. And they have a concept in their culture called Hozo. And I want to share a little bit about this because it's the ultimate in non-resistance. A definitively beauty-centric culture is that of the Navajo or the Dine, meaning the people, as they refer to themselves. It is guided by a fundamental principle of Hozo, which embodies a pervasive philosophy of integrated balance, order, harmony, and well-being. Difficult to fully translate into English, Hozo is at the core of the Navajo essence. It is a sense of elemental rightness that is central to their way of living. Hozo is a multi-layered concept, meaning a state of harmony and beauty, truth and balance. The state of being Hozo is to be at one with all in the universe. Hozo may best be understood by describing characteristics of a Dene individual who excels in his or her journey to achieve this revered state of being. Dene elders are the ideal role models. Dene elders have both received the ancient teachings of Hozo and have had a lifetime of experience in working toward attaining it. People living consistently with Hozo ideas are humble, intelligent, patient, respectful and thoughtful, as demonstrated in speech, actions, and relationships, soft-spoken, good and attentive listeners, disciplined, hardworking, physically fit and strong, generous, supportive, caring and empathetic, positive in thought, speech, and behaviors, spiritual, loyal and reliable, honest, creative, and artistic, peaceful and harmonious, perceptive, understanding, and wise, confident, calm, deliberate in actions, gentle yet firm, and self-controlled. Hosea teaches that respectful thought, speech, and behavior should be nurtured, and relationships should be nurtured and in relationships and in life, including those with the whole of creation in the universe. It all should be supportive and positive. Now imagine if you were putting out into the universe all of those qualities I just read as a description of someone who's in this state of Hosea, or harmony with everything. You were sending all of that out and receiving it back. That would be a very powerful, transformative way to be. To be in Hosea is to be at one with and a part of your environment and the world around you in such a way that the notes of your life complement and resonate with the symphony of life all around you. You neither pitch above nor below the thrumming chords of the universe, but yet at the same time your melody stands out on its own merits and is heard with utter clarity, pure in tone and pitch and strength, singular yet subsumed in the whole. And that's that state, the ultimate state of non-resistance. So being in this state of harmony that comes from non-resistance causes these qualities to be expressed in our world of affairs. Non-resistance indeed leads to positivity, harmony, and love in our experience of life. God bless you.
Thank you, Michael, for that wonderful message. Now comes a time when we have our tithes and offerings, and we take those in our hands, or we go to our website and go to the pay tree or the tree, whatever. But he says, I never get the name right, but you know what it is, and it has the links to Cash App and Venmo and PayPal, or you can also send a check, P.O. Box 1661 in FAR 78577. So we take our tithes offerings and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I'll give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you.
Thank you once again for joining us this morning. I remind you that Wednesday is World Day of Prayer. Join us on Zoom at the Let's Get Metaphysical link at 6 o'clock in the evening. So we close out with prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me, watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.